Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. This is your Z107.7 local news for Saturday, May 30th, 2026. All right, so on average, gas prices in California have always been some of the highest in the United States. That's due to too many variables and factors to cover in this story, but let's just say that California's gas taxes and their focus on air quality over the last 50 years means that Golden State customers are always paying more at the pump. So whenever Californians hear that the average fuel price in the United States has been over $4 a gallon, it may be hard to feel sympathy for those other states, as our average gallon of gas sits at around $6. President Trump has acknowledged the increased gas prices, saying that they would return to normal in a few weeks. However, that was in March, and we're just on the edge of June, and the average gallon of gas has gone up and down in small percentiles as world leaders ping-pong peace talks back and forth. But some economists are saying that Americans should brace themselves for a more volatile fuel market through 2027. So if you depend on your car for transportation, how do you cut back on gas? If you're able to do so, pedestrian modes of transportation have the twofold benefit of being cheaper than a car and good for your health. That's great if you live in a city where you most likely have access to the type of urban infrastructure that supports safely walking or biking to your destination. Here in the high desert, it's not so easy. I talked with Eric Lennert, who's part of the Basin Bike Path Project. I first met him when I began covering Yucca Valley Town Council meetings, where he'd often show up in public comment speaking on a number of issues. Here's Eric.
Kind of this quote-unquote Desert Routes initiative spun out of a public comment I made last fall at the Yucca Valley Town Council meeting in regards to two bicycle-related deaths that happened in the basin within 1 week. And the general, big picture idea would be a hypothetical bike path that goes from, let's say, Yucca Valley all the way east through downtown Joshua Tree to 29 Palms, and then loops back through the national park. And in that process, also advocating for just safer streets, so more bike lanes, in our existing streets.
The Basin Bike Path Project is in its very early days, but Eric says that the building community with enthusiasts who support the idea is part of that Desert Route initiative. And if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you're in luck, as Eric is holding an event this Sunday right up your bike path.
Yes, we're calling it Bicycle Cafe, really trying to create that social fabric around, the biking community out here, so that when we do have these conversations in the future with our local elected officials, then we can have more of a voice. We're going to meet at Nosotros, which is a new space just by Vaughn's. It'll be at 11, and then we're going to ride Sunny Slope Drive, which is off the highway, and take that. It's about a little over, I think it's like 3 miles, to Matson Ambrose. They're the new coffee shop in the west end of Yucca. We're going to hang out and talk about the future of the Basin Bike Path, and we're going to have some coffee and donuts, and there's also going to be Friendo Burger as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity to, meet some other local bicycle enthusiasts and to get to know, what the Basin Bike Path is up to and what the future looks like.
Eric says the event is open for people of all ages and skill levels. There is some inclines, though, so be aware of that. You can check out basinbikepath.com or on Instagram at basinbikepath for more details on the project and Sunday's Bicycle Cafe, which begins at 11 a.m. We'll have those details, along with a longer conversation with Eric, on our website, z1077fm.com. The Morongo Basin Historical Society are hosting their first film screening, The Great K&A Train Robbery, tonight in Landers. Reporter Gabriel Hart spoke to Will Amato about the museum and the event, including some historical significance of the film star. Here's Gabe.
Morongo Basin Historical Society Secretary Will Amato joined the Historical Museum very spur of the moment when Board President Justin Marino asked open house attendees who would like to be on the board. Amato raised his hand immediately, as he was already scouring the archives doing research for his upcoming high desert scrapbook. Now he feels the museum's, quote, loving intention rises above your typical dusty archives.
It's not dry like that museum is. It holds all these artifacts and documents and displays that have been lovingly preserved, and that's evident. So being around them, I've gotten to appreciate the people who collected these things and preserved them over time. So it's given me a kind of a richer understanding of the area, but also a more affectionate one.
Since the museum was recently reopened by Board President Justin Marino, the board is opening the museum to other events in an effort to raise awareness of its archives. Live music, lectures, and Saturday's film event, The Great K&A Train Robbery. The 1926 silent film features Tony the Wonder Horse and cowboy film star Tom Mix, who Amato says was the biggest movie star in the world at that time, starring in 300 films in a 10-year period, forming a template later followed by Gene Autry and Roy Rogers. While the film wasn't filmed locally, Amato reminds us of Mix's local significance.
Because he set the template, he was like the dude They named a street after him up in Pioneer Town. There's a Tom Mix Road. The museum actually holds a large archive of Tom Mix memorabilia, and so that will be on display as well within our mercantile exhibit.
While the Great K&A Train Robbery is a silent film, Amano confirms it's packed with action, romance, and, quote, a little buffoonery here and there, which may overlap into live folly opportunity for audience participation.
It comes with a live soundtrack, with a soundtrack attached, but we are going to be handing out some noisemakers to the audience to supply some extra sound effects.
The event will offer free popcorn and will have board treasurer Mendy Fry cooking up cowboy dogs and soy boy dogs with peppers and onions, which will be for sale to benefit the museum, along with alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. Free admission open to the public at 7 p.m. this Saturday, May 30th at the Morongo Basin Historical Museum, located at 632 Landers Lane on the border of Yucca Valley and Landers. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Gabriel Hart.
Poetry and Prose Under the Blue Moon is described as an immersive outdoor literary gathering taking place tonight at Sky's the Limit Observatory and presented as part of their Full Moon Cultural Program. The event will feature contributors to P.O. Box Outer Space, the acclaimed zine series co-edited by novelist Jardine Lebert. Described as a collection of open letters to the beyond, the zine explores cosmic, existential, and deeply personal themes through poetry, fiction, visual art, and experimental storytelling. Wow, we've got a lot of zine activity going on in the basin lately. The evening is going to serve as an early preview of the 29 Palms Book Festival's growing editorial focus on stargazing literature, a literary movement inspired by astronomy, the night sky, and the creative energy of the Mojave Desert. That's happening tonight at Sky's the Limit Observatory in 29 Palms from 7:30 to 9:30, but doors open up at 6:30. We have more details on our website. The historic Plaza in 29 Palms has hosted large-scale community events, and a recent city approval means there's going to be a whole lot more. With a look at what's happening this weekend and in the future at the historical Plaza, here's party boy Jeff Harmatz.
The historic Plaza in 29 Palms is situated on the northwest corner of Adobe Road and 2 Mile Road. 2 rows of shops line a parking lot plaza filled with shady trees and ample room for events. The nonprofit group Friends of the Historic Plaza has been hosting family-friendly public events there for the last several years. In May, the Friends of the Historic Plaza applied for a conditional use permit from the city of 29 Palms. The permit was granted at the Planning Commission meeting on May 5th, allowing for more frequent events at the plaza. First up on their agenda is a backyard barbecue party happening this Sunday. Sponsored by historic plaza businesses Son of the Desert, Mojave Moon Apothecary, and The Cactus, this event features food, music, and fun and is completely free to attend. Expect live music from Los Poncho Tones, line dancing, yard games, barbecue, a beer garden, and cocktail bar. The fun begins Sunday at 4 p.m. and runs until 9 p.m. The historic plaza is at Adobe Road and 2 Mile Road in 29 Palms. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Jeff Harmatz.
Tristan Reparejo will be the featured inspirational speaker at an event at the Yucca Valley Center for Spiritual Living at 10 a.m. on Sunday. His topic is Embracing the Sunset, Guiding Light to End of Life. With over 16 years of nursing experience in ER, trauma, ICU, and hospice care, Tristan brings a deep commitment to improving quality of life for patients in the community. He earned his degree from the College of the Desert and Capella University and now focuses on providing compassionate, personalized care through hospice service. He says his goal is to advocate for patients and their families by offering support during life's most challenging moments. The event is free and open to the public. A potluck follows after the talk and all are invited. The Yucca Valley Center for Spiritual Living is located at 7434 Bannock Trail in Yucca Valley. We'll have contact information for the event at this story on our website, Z107.7fm.com. And that's your local news for Saturday. You can hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. More Morongo Basin residents get their local news from Z107.7 than any other source. Reporting out of Joshua Tree, California, alongside the award-winning Z107.7 news team, I'm Robert Hayden.